Good morning, my beautiful budding bakers. I hope you're having a bouncing Easter Sunday. It is 10 bells, and what are we doing today? There isn't a drop of chocolate in the house. So I said, lads, have a look at what we're doing this morning. Now, as much as I love chocolate and the amount of chocolate that is in the house, I decided I am not doing a chocolate dessert for Easter, because this one is absolutely divine. It is light, it is fluffy, it is full of vitamin C. It is divine. Now, it's old school, because I'm old school. So this is a raspberry charlotte russe. So the difference when you have a russe and you have a charlotte royale is a charlotte royale is made with Swiss rolls. This is made with our sponge fingers. So the sponge fingers I've got a fab pack. They come with 4 packets, I think of 100 grams or something in each packet, and I got these in Lidl. So these are fantastic sponge fingers. Now, before we get into everything, I do want to have my gelatin prepared. So I have 150 mils of cold, do not have hot water, cold water, and I have got some jelly. Now the jelly, the jelly I'm using is sugar-free. I've only used about 450 mils of cream, but listen, self-conscious, we're using low sugar raspberry jelly. So in that goes into our cold water, and in on top of that, I've got 1 sachet of Dr. Uke gelatine, and in that goes. So I'm just going to leave that to the side, and already it is smelling divine. Yum! The reason I am using the sugar-free jelly is because I actually like the flavour of the raspberry, because it enhances the charlotte, because we are using a 500 grams of frozen raspberries in the charlotte. Lads, kids out there, this is the easiest recipe to do, and we're going to do it fast. So we have got our gelatin. We're going to leave that to the side for about 5 minutes, and I have got a loose bottomed tin. It's a 9-inch round. I have just got clingfilm, and I've just overlapped, so north, south, west, east, overlapped clingfilm right at the bottom. That's to prevent, if your mixture is a bit loose, you don't want any seepage. So you've got your clingfilm and it's prepared in the tray. Tin even. Now, to speed things up for Easter, I was not turning on the oven to do a bake. I want something fast and easy. So I have got one of these sponge cakes. Now the sponge cakes themselves are a little dry, a bit like the Aldi's flip flop. So I will cover it with either a liqueur or a simple syrup, but on this occasion I'm doing it with a raspberry jam. So with this I have got an 8-inch board. I have put it down, but you'll see it's almost a finger width away from the edge, and you'll see there's a border, and I've just followed the border with a knife, followed all the way around with a knife. And then I have my sponge, but I have split it, because what I don't want is I don't want the end of the sponge. So I have literally leveled it and split it in 2. I'm turning it upside down, so you've got the cake side at the bottom, and in that goes. Before I forget, I am going to put in a board to make it that little bit easier to take out. You don't have to have a board, but it does make your life that little bit easier. And in goes our sponge. So now we have sponge base. If you don't have sponge base, you can actually just layer sponge biscuits at the end of this as well. So there's absolutely no dramas. So we'll put that to the side, clean as you go, clean as you go. So I'm going to get probably about a tablespoon of jam. Now, this is where you can decide. It could be limoncello. You could have a simple syrup, and if you're going to use a simple syrup, it's normally sort of the same ratio. So you have 100 grams of caster sugar, you'd have 100 mils of water. You let that bubble, toil and trouble for maybe about 2 minutes, just until it comes up to the boil, and then you can put in your flavoured alcohol and leave it until it's cold, and that you can brush your sponge with your simple syrup. So you could do a limoncello simple syrup. You could do a sherry simple syrup. You could do framboise simple syrup. You can go mad. So I am putting on about 2 tablespoons of raspberry jam. So again, all I'm doing is I'm smothering the base. Push that so you can see the back of a spoon. And that's just to give it an extra whammy of raspberry. But again, you don't have to use raspberry. You can use lemon. Lemon curd is absolutely divine as well. So there we have our raspberry jam bottom. Lid on, bubbly water in the sink, clean as you go, clean as you go. Crash, bang, voila. Now, as you can see, look how crazy the gelatin is going together. I mean, it's literally coming together and it's a bit like a sponge. So leave that for another minute or two. While we are waiting for that, we have got 500 grams of mascarpone. So I put in one pot, and then I'm going to put in the second pot, and I'm just going to beat that. And what I have in the fridge is I have 500 mils of softly whipped cream. Again, I am doing this because it is Easter Sunday. I don't want you to lose the will to live. This is a lovely quick recipe once you have everything prepped in advance. So turn on our mixer, bring it in a bit so you see. We have now got, clean as you go, we've our 2 pots of mascarpone. Turn it up a little, just give it a bit of and into that, I'm putting 60 grams of icing sugar. So in that goes 60 grams of icing sugar. It's important to bring the mascarpone to room temp before you start with it, so you don't end up with any lumps. So the mascarpone for me has been out a good hour, if not an hour and a half, before I'm using it. So all I'm doing is giving a Okay, so we have got our mascarpone, scrape down our bowl. Yum, 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 yum. Boom. Get it all out, just so that we're going to have it. Oh, look at me, I'm looking very dainty as I'm frying. I have to scrape the bowl. Oh, don't get too close. Don't get your fingers sticky. This is where you just go, yum. So, mascarpone, we have our sponge, we have our jam. Next thing is we have our fingers. So, with our sponge fingers, take out a full pack. You probably need about 23. And I'm going to start by seeing the height. What I don't want is it too high up. I just want, see the way where if you have an extra inch, it does make a difference. So all I'm doing is I'm just taking a little bit off the end. So each of the fingers, I'm just going to, now again, this is for me, this is for my family today because of Easter. If you're doing it for somebody else, please use gloves. It does make it more hygienic, and because you're handling the sponges, at this stage, my kids are immune. So all I'm doing next is I am lining up my sponge fingers like little soldiers. And I'm putting the sugar coating on the outside just because it's more decorative and it looks prettier. But you can see how easy this would be for kids. It is such a dramatic sponge. And looking at it again, you can see the clean cut that I made this morning, taking out a slice. And believe it or not, each slice you can dictate how large, or how small you want to have the charlotte, the slices that is. So for example, because the charlotte is beautiful, it's really sweet, but it has that punch of raspberry, you don't need an awful lot. So when I'm cutting it, if you see the angle there that I've cut on the charlotte, that's a 2-finger wedge, but I served it on the plate and that's 1 finger serving. And before you go, oh my God, all the cream, all the mascarpone, how could you? That works out on my fitness pal, because I did work it out, is 146 calories for what's on that plate, minus my sugared meringue, and that was just purely thrown on for decorative purposes. So 146 calories I would have all day long. So it is everything in moderation. So obviously you eat the whole charlotte and that's probably about 4,000 calories. But this serves 20. So for a charlotte that serves 20, or for my husband who has been off absolutely everything for the whole duration of Lent, he'd probably have it with a spoon. So fingers galore, chop, 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 chop. Make sure they don't go flying across your island onto the floor. Now, and the last few, and off it bounces on the table. Trish, hold while you're cutting, hold while you're cutting. Now, if I was really fussy, I would measure each of these fingers. So that's why it's great for kids. Each one of these as a template and then mark so that they're all the same. Lads, it's Easter Sunday. Sorry about that, no, but you can get stuff. I am not measuring my fingers this morning. So in goes, and it's perfect. So you've got that lovely little snug cage. So I'm just going to move this over here, do a clean as you go, and move everything out of the way. Zoom, 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 clean as you go, clean as you go. So look, we have got the foundation of our Charlotte. So I'm pushing in the fingers just up against the sponge. You've got that yummy raspberry jam, and make sure you get a nice raspberry jam, you know, because it will dictate the flavour of your Charlotte. So we have our mascarpone, we have our raspberries. Now I'm going to put this into the microwave for about 20 to 30 seconds to now dissolve it, because it has absolutely absorbed all the gelatin. So 20 seconds, and while we're waiting for that, I will get the cream out of the fridge. Yum! So we have our Charlotte. So the simplest thing, we have got our sponge out of a sponge flan. We have put that on the base. We have smothered it with raspberry jam. You don't have to put raspberry jam. You could do lemon curd. Lemon curd is beautiful, or you could brush with a simple syrup. That needs another, I'd say, 10 seconds. Simple syrup. You could have it alcohol based. You can lash, kirsch. You can do absolutely everything. So the next thing we're going to do is the filling. The filling requires 500 grams of raspberries. I've used frozen raspberries. It's the juice of one lime and the zest, just to give it a bit of a boom, and 120 grams of caster sugar. So what I've done is I have melted, it's empty. I have melted my frozen raspberries. Oh, look, there are frozen raspberries in this pot. It is bubbling away. And I've got the juice of a lemon. And I've got my sugar. And then what I've done is I've put it through a sieve. I move that to the side. And I have literally pushed this through the sieve to get rid of all the lumps and bumps. Now, by all means, if you do want to actually put the puree and mix everything in, but it is quite bitty and you've got a lot of seeds, so I prefer it when you've got the pulp that's left. Don't throw this out. This is absolutely sensational. Mixed through soft whipped cream. It's incredible through ice cream. You can even dollop it on top of your porridge. You can freeze it into ice cubes, so do not throw it out. Clean as you go. Shoo. Over here. Now we have got our gelatin mix. So we have got the raspberry and the gelatin, and this is now going into our fruit mix. And we'll just give it a stir. Stir, stir, stir. The smell of this is absolutely amazing. So you have got this fabulous pink. And wait until you start adding this, because this is turning the mascarpone and the cream into a knickers pink. It is gorgeous. Bam, 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 bam. So, kids watching, absolutely easy peasy, raspberry squeezy. You can do this in your sleep. And first of all, may I wish our beautiful neighbour Sophie a happy, happy, happy birthday. And just remembered, Siobhan Collin, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday! And of course my mother. My mother's birthday is today. So, on goes our mascarpone. In goes our mix. Now look at the colour. So I'm bringing in. So you've got that gorgeous raspberry. Don't worry when you see that this is like a raspberry soup. A soup. Don't panic. There's a lot of liquid, but it'll be absorbed. I'm going to turn up the speed. And you can see the colour changing. By all means, you do not need to use raspberries in this. You can actually just make a mixed berry compote, and you're doing the same procedure with mixed berries. If you decide you're not keen on raspberries and you want to do strawberries, have a strawberry Charlotte. So again, you've got your gelatine mix. It's been dissolved in the microwave. And this is why it's important to soft whip your cream. Because if you over whip it, you're going to be whipping it again with the mascarpone, and you don't want to have butter. Turn it down a bit. And this is how soft. Can you see the soft cream? Look. And in goes 450 of our cream. Softly whipped. In it goes. So you have got mascarpone, 2 pots of your mascarpone, and you have 400 mils of cream. But as I mentioned, each slice will constitute about 20 servings. And with that 20 servings, it is not something that you can't have a second slice. Everything in moderation, lads. Look at the colour. Get every last bit out, and it also saves on washing. Oh. Bam, 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 bam. Clean as you go, clean as you go. Into the sink it goes. We're nearly there. Turn it up another little bit. And actually, look, I'll turn it down so that you can see it still needs some whipping. Can you see it's quite runny? What I don't want is it too runny, because what I want to prevent is any of this delicious, look at that knickers pink. Oh my goodness. And I just want to thicken it up, and you can see the marbling of your mascarpone and the cream as well. I want to make sure that it's completely combined. Oh, lads. OMG. I think the last time I made this was when I was 19 for my mother's 50th. So it's an oldie, but I'm telling you now, it is divine. And what's lovely is not using 2 sachets of gelatin, but 1 sachet of gelatin, and then the second sachet making that raspberry jelly. And it does enhance the flavour, and it is absolutely delicious in it. Wow, 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 wow. Turn up one more. Woohoo! Titanium! And you can see, looking at the whisk, that it's beginning to thicken, which is what I'm looking for. You can see the ripples, and it's thickening, thickening, thickening. That's just coming up to the consistency I'm looking for. Let's have a look and see if it's not drippy drippy, because I don't want it too drippy drippy. Oh, lovely. Can you see that? So that it's a soft peak. Plop. Lads. That now is divine. And this is it. This is how easy it is. Just do it clean as you go. Clean as you go. Do not want to have a bit of a white zoom. Fingers, sponge, pre-bought sponge, raspberry jam. And then, and give it a stir all the way around, just to make I have no lumps and bumps. And if I do have lumps and bumps, who cares? It's been made with love. And look at this. Oh my God. Holy moly, holy cannoli. All of this goes in. It is delicious. You have got the raspberries, the mascarpone, you have your cream, sponge fingers, everything. See, this is why my kids hate me. I get everything out of the bowl. Everything out of the bowl. Ooh, yum. And what I will do is I'll just give it a little tap, 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 tap. Clean as you go. Clean as you go. The album will be out in golden discs, I'd say, in about a month. Clean as you go. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. Kaboom! That is your charlotte. That is how easy it is to do your charlotte. All you need is to have the ingredients prepped in advance. You can make that raspberry coulis the night before and you can chill it. It's only upon adding your gelatin that it'll start to stiffen up. So don't add any gelatin until the morning that you're going to make it for the next day. So this needs to go into a chiller. So that beautiful charlotte will go into the fridge. It does require chilling, overnight chilling, being realistic. What you don't want is to try and slice and you just end up with that bleh on your plate. Have a look at the charlotte because it cleanly cuts. So I cut a lovely clean wedge, but it has that soft, and if I take this and bring it in, it has that soft mousse. That is absolutely divine. You could serve it with a drizzle of raspberry coulis. You could even have it with a dribble of lemon curd melted in the microwave. It is sharp, it is zingy, it is fruity, it is delicious. It certainly has a wow factor for Easter morning. You also have a little icing sugar that you can just go dust, 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 dust. Spray them into the center because I'm feeling fancy pantsy. And that, lads, is an Easter treat that is so easy for kids to do, but it is delicious. This will go, as I mentioned, into the fridge. I will write up the recipe. It could be tomorrow, lads, because Easter Sunday, I am whipping up a storm, doing dinners left, right and centre. So today, I would say recipe will be written up and thrown out to you tomorrow. It could be this evening though, if I've had a lovely large glass of something, and I'll have it finished tonight. So, thank you so much for watching. Thank you as well for buying my book, which is available on Amazon and the Book Depository in Waterstones. And thank you so much for keeping tuned every Sunday at 10 AM. And thanks to Lucy too, I have dragged a teenager out of bed Easter Sunday to make a charlotte. So I hope you enjoy. Make sure you dive in. Nosedive. Perfect for summer barbecues. Hopefully the weather will continue because it's glorious today. I shall see you next Sunday.